Outbreak Perfected has been released in Destiny 2 and... Wait, it never actually left. I guess technically... Never mind. Re-released in Destiny 2. Anyway, Outbreak returns with the reprisal of the 0-hour exotic mission, and some might be asking, what makes this one better than the original? Upon completing the 0-hour activity, you will be able to go craft an Outbreak Perfected in the Enclave, which means this weapon now gets intrinsic perks. You can unlock these intrinsic perks by completing the puzzle objectives inside the 0-hour mission, and with this week's reset, we are able to unlock a specific perk to put on Outbreak. That perk is Weeboo Rounds. No, I will not call it Rewind Rounds, you can't make me, except for the one time that I did just now. Weeboo Rounds is one of the best PvE perks in the entire game and allows you to refund ammo back into your mag. To be specific, it refills 60% of your mag, assuming you fired roughly 29% of your original previous magazine. In basic terms, Weeboo Rounds allows us to fire significantly longer without any need of a manual reload, which instantly surpasses the previous Outbreak Perfected pretty easily. Now, for those of you that are not familiar with Outbreak, it is a primary pulse rifle that allows you and your teammates to shoot and build up nanites on enemies that will give you additional damage, and the more people you have firing Outbreak, the better it gets. Also, I think this is pretty uncommon among the community, and it's pretty relevant for this, so I think I'm going to mention one thing here. When Bungie had changed the way supers are charged and how the intellect stat works, they essentially made it so that more hits and damage equal more super energy gained. On top of this, primary weapons in particular provide more super energy. Another example that is not a primary would be fusion rifles. Have you ever noticed when you shoot a fusion rifle at a boss, your super bar just chunks upward just a little bit? That's the idea here. So, taking these two things into account, Outbreak Perfected can do some ridiculous things just as a primary weapon. More specifically, other than putting in decent damage on its own, take a look at what this thing does to everyone's super bar in this clip. This is just 6 Outbreaks and supers versus Crota, who, by the way, is one of the tankiest bosses we currently have in the entire game. Perfect.
999.
Waiting for a miss.
I hit mine. And full damage on the second one?
Come on. That should work, Let's go. They're huge.
I got 3 tethers off in this, I'm cracked!
I should get a Nighthawk in time, hopefully.
I should as
We have
well.
12 seconds and not a lot.
I got one. Bang!
Bang, bang, bang.
Bang him out!
That's pretty absurd. For a primary weapon to be able to help generate you a full super in the same damage phase where you had already used one, while providing a good chunk of damage in the process, is fantastic. Now, it is still a primary, so of course we aren't gonna compare it to a heavy weapon DPS, because that isn't the point. Clearly, heavy weapons should and are the best damage option in the game. But the utility and the benefits of what Outbreak does and will do in the final shape should also not be underestimated. Also, this is just incredibly easy to use and requires a very low skill ceiling, so, you know, there's that too. And the funny part is, pulse rifles are going to receive a PvE damage buff in the final shape, so it can only get better from here. The classic example to use here is you've dumped all your ammo and you're out of options and you're about to enter a damage phase against the boss. Slap on Outbreak Perfected and now you suddenly can have an option to get 2 offensive supers off, or at the very least it will feed you a super that you may not have had to start the damage phase to begin with. So now you might be curious, what is the full setup for this other than just shoot Outbreak at a boss? Here's the setup. It's pretty basic and straightforward. Step 1 is going to be get the new Outbreak Perfected and not use the old one, and do both week 1 and week 2 puzzles inside the 0-hour exotic mission. Step 2 is go craft Outbreak with Weewoo rounds and extended mag. The barrel can be whatever you want, we just want extended and Weewoo rounds. Step 3, pick either a burst super or a super that is instantaneous for you when you use it. Think Golden Gun, Tether, Well, and so on. Basically, just don't run a roaming super. Step 4, use mods to your advantage to make things a little easier. This includes things like Dynamo, Kinetic Siphon, Kinetic Loader for the rare time you do have to manually reload and you don't have an ability reload such as a Hunter Dodge. 3 Kinetic Reserve mods. I'm just kidding, this is a Destiny 1 boomer joke, don't mind me. kinetic weapon surge in your boots to output more damage with your Outbreak Perfected. And finally, at least 2 copies of Powerful Attraction and 1 copy of Distribution, or if you want, you can rock 3 Powerful Attractions instead, just to make sure when you dodge, you yoink every orb in existence. And the final step, if possible, bring friends who also have Outbreak Perfected, because as mentioned at the start of the video, the more Siva enthusiasts you have with you, the better Outbreak becomes. Now, as for exotic armor pieces to pair with Outbreak, each class has a couple you could use. For Warlocks, you have Chromatic Fire, which is basically like a Firefly explosion when you get precision headshot kills, and it depends on the element of your subclass, what kind of explosion it'll be. And then you have Rain of Fire, of course, for when you actually have to reload, you can just dodge to reload instead, assuming you're on a Solar subclass. For Hunters, it's basically the 2 best exotic armor pieces in the game, at least for this current season heading into Final Shape, which is Celestial Nighthawk for Golden Gun, because not only does Golden Gun do stupid damage thanks to Nighthawk, but also, when you don't have your super, Precision Kills will give you a nice boost in super energy when you get that kill, so you get your super faster. And as for the other exotic, it's Star Eater Scales, which not only can give you a boost to, like, let's say, Blade Barrage, or 3-shot Goldie if you want to use that for some reason after the nerf. And, on top of that, if you don't have your super, the orbs of power that you do pick up along the way are bigger, or essentially give you more energy than a normal orb of power would. As for Titans, I'm gonna be honest, you guys don't really have a winning option in this case. You could run Curious of Falling Star, or Pyrogales just to get that super off, and then rebuild for that chunky super to hit again, but nothing to really help you along the way once you've used your first super, if that makes sense. By the way, quick question to anybody that's watching this. This is completely irrelevant to Outbreak Perfected, but I'm curious on what people think. Do you guys think that Bungie will finally give in and go back to the Siva story, or make a new Siva story, instead of it just being, hey, it happened in Rise of Iron and then never again, and we're actually gonna do something with it this time? Or is it just going to basically stay dead along with Rasputin? What do you think? Also, where the hell is Wrath of the Machine? Bungie, you know everybody wants it. What is the holdup? And that is generally it. Outbreak is a very nutty weapon for a primary. You should absolutely get it before Final Shape if you can, and go spread the word of Weewoo. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider subscribing today. It does help the channel grow and is much appreciated, and we're getting very close to 40k. If you want to go the extra mile, you can also leave a like and a comment below. If you don't know what to comment, you can leave Siva as the comment. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.